Man, sun shining. Sun shining. Boom, baby, boom. Rise and shine. It's your morning marijuana motivation time. I'm your host with the most, is Mark Saint. This is my life. Every morning I get up and I'm able to live if I choose to. I'm able to boldly go places if I choose to. And this morning, I choose to live my life. And the only way to unlock my life is to kill the stressful thoughts. And this morning, upon learning more about what is negativity and how we process it, it turns out it's a lot of just our own thoughts. Our thoughts are literally killing our progress. Our thoughts literally kill our potential. And I keep talking about limited belief systems that we keep inside of ourselves. But one of the things that we definitely keep inside of ourselves is emotional addiction. And that's what I probably should have called this. Maybe I'll go back and change it, call it emotional addictions. Addicted to emotion. That's what we are. We have developed so many habits of how we placate ourselves and make ourselves feel okay that we become addicted to certain hormones in our brains. And for the longest time, it's unfortunate because like usually these things are happening. Thank you, Bird. When you're a child, the challenges come to you when you have little emotional intelligence, and then you get stuck with the habit. I'm gonna go into case in point with my homie. He was talking about he's got eater addiction. He eats his feelings, and even right now, in spite of an enlarged aorta and heart disease being a number one killer of men or humans, we literally still eat our feelings. We literally have lost the ability to stop or stop from overeating and start eating just for the nutrients that we need for our body. We end up eating to get the chemicals we need for our minds. And again, mind, body, and soul. If the mind is right, the mind doesn't seek things that are not good for it. When we are right with our world, we stop counting the things that are wrong in our world, and we start living by a more balanced pattern. The tough part and the thing that I learned today is that we've already established a pattern, and probably it's unhealthy. And that's something that we got to be honest about here at Saints Addiction. Where's the logo? Honest about our addictions is you got to be honest when you're powerless to some of your addictions. You become powerless to the pattern, and instead of learning a new way or learning a new pattern, oh my God, somebody, you can see their tires just bam, almost hit the wall. Wow, this person came around the corner, hit really hard, almost hit the wall. That's what kind of danger we're in. We're in a directionless danger. When we don't take any direction, like picking up plastic bottles and the plastic pocket challenge, then we stay in these patterns. We stay in unhealthy patterns, watching our whole hearts get bigger and bigger and scareder. We ratchet ourselves up on stress. How many of us are firefighters out there? How many of us are heroes not wearing capes? We have ways of handling stress. Now, what's interesting to me, the thing that made me go, what the fuck, was that animals have such a quicker rate of relaxing of stress. First of all, the hormones are intended for survival. Like I talked about yesterday, the hormones were intended for us to procreate. Your hormones are intended to make you horny. It's going to make you get out of your patterns to go seek other places. It's the way we've been procreating for years, eons, since the beginning. There's something itching in your pants, you're going to go find something that takes that itch away. Same with your stomach. You're going to go find something that takes that feeling away of hunger or loneliness. We find a way. Now, the way that we find isn't necessarily healthy. And that's why we have to have this conversation, an honest conversation about your addictions and your patterns and your habits. And I might as well just say all those three things are the same thing. But that's what we're at right now. We're at it in our lives where we got to ask ourselves, is this thought killing me? You know, I mean, like literally, am I being killed by my thoughts? And the truth is you are. You know, our thoughts are creating our reality all the time, and we make false narratives. I was talking about it yesterday with like 95%. Bink, make it pop up here. 95% of us, 95 of us, all of us do this, but 95% of all of us, 95% of the things that we do is emotional. It's derived from a feeling. And instead of going back inside of our brains and saying, no, I need you to feel this way, we lay down. We go, you know what? You're right. I'm not feeling the gym today, man. I'm just gonna go on home and you know, start telling myself ways to quit and reasons why and the temperature and all the reasons. That's what we do, dog. We go inside of our heads and we start telling ourselves our moods. We start saying to ourselves, I feel a certain type of way. Instead of I want to feel a certain type of way, we just stick with the first feeling and we're stuck. And this is the reason why growth isn't happening and people aren't evolving. They're revolving instead of evolving. We're going to talk about another day. This needs to be said. It's because we're addicted to the pattern. We are addicted to our pattern. We have learned in ourselves, like if we want to feel a certain type of way, we know a way to make ourselves feel, but we don't test ourselves to feel another way. Literally, our brains are conditioned to find it one way alone. We're going to get those hormones the way we want them to. We're going to find the person to sleep with us so that way we can get the itch to be removed. Instead of staying creative in our minds and finding other ways out, we're stuck with the only ways that we know how. And what was interesting to me was that you can develop new ways how. It's almost like with working out. As soon as you start working out, your body's going to start craving proper proteins, proper vegetables. It's going to ask for the right things in your body. But as long as you're living in the emotional world, you'll just fill yourself with the fats, the oils, and the sugars because it'll tell you that you're feeling better. If it's all about feeling better, then your feelings are just in a chemical war. You're just literally in a war inside your brain all the mornings, every day of your life, the last 20, 30, 40 years, depending on how old you are, conditioned. Operate conditioning, but conditioning on the way our brains are firing. We got this amazing frontal cortex that can process all this information, but we're still animals. We got our limbic system right back here. It tells us, hey, fight, flight, freeze. It's going to tell you how to survive. But they never taught us how to turn it off. And that's why I have to have this conversation this morning, because it's always on. Our fear mechanisms, our survival mechanisms, instead of being creative, we're just surviving. And it's really hard to create something if you're always focused on surviving. If you're always focused on what you're going to say next, and instead of being calm and calming our minds to find some sort of balance inside of ourselves, we're scattered. We're firing all sorts of stimulus. We're getting a rush out of it. And that's what I just realized this morning is, to be honest, you know, you're going to say that you don't like drama, but inside your brain, it's giving you a chemical buzz. And just like narcotics and just like addiction, we got to talk about the honesty of it. I'm honestly saying that I've honestly felt a buzz from anger. Who would have known that we could be so addicted to our emotions? Now that I know, it wakes me up. It wakes me up to the possibility that I can fire my brain on new stuff. That to break the pattern, I got to give my brain the opportunity to think with a different part of my brain. I got to give myself a chance to live. And we all have that ability to do it, but we're not all giving ourselves that opportunity. And I was like, take the opportunity, you guys, today to show yourself your own strength, to show your mind that you're still minding yourself, right? That you're still minding your business, minding yourself, and healing yourself. If you are listening to this, hear me now. Oh, there's a little spider on here. See you later, buddy. Oh, he flew back. I flew him over and he flew back. Look, he's attached to me. There you go, buddy. Fly on, fly free. That was cool. I blew him off and his tail hung up and he like zinged back. Blew him off and he zinged back. What a beautiful feeling. But I'm watching some people here in the park exercising. They are helping their bodies get to a different place. I mean, hear me out now. Hear me now. Animals have a fight or flight response mechanism. They have a survival mechanism just like we do. But theirs gets back to zero really quickly. Just like a tiger wants to eat a deer isn't sitting there worrying about how they look on their selfie. They're worried about living, right? Like, it's a very basic instinct, but we always talk about it, but let's be about it. Us as humans, oh my God, he's still here. He's still hopping on me. I thought I felt something. Get going, buddy. Get going. Maybe there's a bunch of them in there. Anyway, so I don't know whose stuff this is, but I'm going to get on it. So this is the reality that I live in. And you live in too, where our bodies are scared of things, right? They're just completely scared of all sorts of things. And we've learned to put ourselves in survival mechanisms, right? We've learned to, that these are chemical wars. It's like, okay, this guy pulled out a gun, let me pull out a knife. Or, okay, here comes the bills, let me ratchet up the stress. And unfortunately, we pair, kind of like overeating, with satisfaction. We don't pair our health with relaxation. Instead of relaxing our minds and giving ourselves the chance to heal it, we send more chemicals inside of our brains to stay in survival mode. And as you all know, when you're in survival mode, you're not in creative mode. And then there goes us watering the weeds instead of the flowers. We end up start reinforcing stuff chemically in our brain. We start becoming firefighters instead of air breathers, or an alternative of creation that we have in our own mind, the power of our minds. We give it away to fear and chemicals, and that's why we have to have this conversation this morning. Let me get my stretch on here. Welcome to the exercise part of the show, where I literally make my brain, force my brain. Oh, yes. I'm sore this morning. Getting that. Exercising the demons, finding a new way inside my brain. And we all have this ability. We all have this ability to start using our own chemical warfare to get the desired effect. We are getting exactly what we want. We don't want to admit it, but it's true. You're getting the relaxation that you want by sitting here watching this. You could be getting the exercise that you want by being on the treadmill and watching this. I've been talking a lot this week about these simple decisions, but the reasons they don't get handled is because we're addicted to our emotions. We're addicted to the pattern. We're gonna be like, yeah, I mean, change is nice and all, but I'm gonna go ahead and stay sick. Said no one ever, but that's what we do. We stay sick, you know? The trees fall. That's awesome. Blossoms. Are you blossoming? Are you ready to blossom? Are you trying to hold tight to the way you've always done it? How many times are we on to the habit instead of the change? And that's what's so risky for all of us is to change. We have to actually change our brains. We actually have to go in and say, all right, I know you very well. For the last 20 years, you've been the kind of person that wraps everything up to the highest extent. You become hella Ratchet. Look at this beautiful tree and all the yellow leaves. That's so beautiful. Thank you, energy. Thank you, energy. Thank you, energy. And the energy that we have inside of ourselves to like fix ourselves, decompartmentalize, and heal. Man, we'll go back right back to the drama aisle. We'll go right back to the drama book and say, I need a buzz. Yo, 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 I'm feeling lonely, man. What's up? What's up, what's up? Yo, 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 remember me? I'm stressed. Let me get a bum. Yeah, you gotta worry about me, man. No. Don't be healed. Don't be calm. Don't forget me now. I need you to stay on this buzz. I need you to get another shot. I need you to find something else to bitch about. I need you to feel a certain type of way. And when you do that, that's when we're at an optimum. Remember when you were surviving and you did all these things to survive? Your brain took over. It flooded you with a bunch of hormones and gave you a bunch of energy. And now that you're addicted to that energy, that's the only way you know how to cope. That's the only way you know how to survive. And you have no other way of changing your behavior or your outcome. Think about that. Think about how blessed our lives would be if we didn't allow depression to take such hold inside of us, or self-consciousness when we're out there. Literally, you know, the lion ain't up in the tree or the tiger licking about his selfie. It's just not what happens. But we as humans, we hold on to things. We can't wait to rush back to our thesaurus, back into our whole Rolodex of memories and go, oh, there it is. There's the buzz that I need. I knew I had one. This is my drama from when I was 5 years old. You're like, holy shit. You went back 30 years to just get a buzz off a drama. Well, I've had a traumatic life. And like, you can't wait to tell your trauma story. I've heard so many people just talk about the traumas and what doesn't work into their lives instead of ways that they found to overcome their traumas. That's what this show's about. Sure, you got addiction, but what'd you do saintly about it? What did you do to overcome it? Did you just keep bowing to the sins and say, I am merciless to you, my sinful mind. I'm always going to be a jealous type of person. I'm always going to be a petty person. I'm always going to find a way to bitch and moan. Is that you? Is that you that needs that buzz? Because we all know those emotions, but how many of us hold on to them? And this week has been all about suffering, and the two arrows, and the first one's the pain, the second one's the suffering. Most of us are addicted to suffering. That's a weird addiction. As I learned more about how our brains are developing and how our neurotransmitters develop pathways for us to get new information, that's amazing, right? Like, we can outlearn ourselves. We can outlearn our bad habits. We can pick up new information and new habits to get to different results. How amazing is that? But here's the catch. You got to want to change. You're going to want to put in the effort. If you're going to still be a junkie to your emotions, then that's what you're going to get. You're going to junkie out every time you get a chance. You're going to be like, let me reach for that old memory. Like I said, almost like a needle. Let me go back to when I was 2. Let me go back when I was 22. Let me go back to the worst memories of my life so I can get another buzz. And it's the same as reaching for cocaine. You know, everybody wants to be so judgmental. I don't see people using. That's not what I see. I see people avoiding, right? And I mean, we use different terminologies, but in essence, what's exactly what we do? We find a way to get the emotion and avoid the emotion on a regular basis and keep it cycling. We cycle ourselves into anxiety. We cycle ourselves into, good morning. I think this dude's feeding them. Oh, they just went away. I think I'm scaring them away. What do you think? You think they're coming to feed you? Oh my God, how cool is that? Look, they're all coming back. They're all coming back. Have a blessed morning. That's why they're here. That's awesome. Yes, it was. So cool. For 12 years, he's been feeding the birds. Birds on shirts, you know, and that's how he gets over his stress. He's got a book and he's got a backpack. And I mean, what a way for the human brain to develop is to find a new neural pathway. You know, literally as I'm walking, I'm developing these things too. I am not only the president, but I'm a member too. You know, when they used to say that about the hair club and guys that used to have receding hairlines, that's what the guy used to sell it. He said, I'm not only the president or CEO, I'm a member too. I'm a member of the addiction party. You know, I didn't want to be a member of the abuse party. I didn't want to be a member of the trauma party. I didn't really sign up for it. It's just part of my existence, my childhood, and all of our childhoods. And now that we become adults, you should be an adult watching this show, we have a choice to improve our lot in life. We don't just have to sit there and hold the same cards. We can flip our cards and find alternative ways, but we always are holding the same cards, trying to play this hand at life with the same cards, knowing damn well you should have folded them, you should have holded them, and there's going to be another round. But not us. No sir, no ma'am. We get stuck on the buzz. We're wanting another bump. You know, it's like, how come these relationships are always broken? It's because you choose them. You choose broken relationships. What's up, bro? See, oh shit, sought after Woodworks. Welcome, man. Hi with the GH. You know, we say hi with the GH. I gotta get the plastic pocket challenge. This whole beautiful grass. Everything's beautiful. The whole thing's green. And these motherfuckers are dropping plastic everywhere. Plastic pocket challenge. It also helps me bend over at the knees. I think I should probably grab this random sandal too. But welcome to the show, bro. Today we're talking about rewiring ourselves. Oh, this is pretty cool. It's a soccer glove. It's a brand new soccer glove. Oh my God, Falcon. We'll keep that. Give it to one of these kids. You know, that's cool. I'm not gonna throw that away. But just like that, we don't throw things away. We tend to hoard thoughts. We hoard emotions. So interesting that us as people, when we have the ability to choose thoughts, we go back to the same ones where we think in patterns. We think in habits. We don't change. We just use survival mechanisms. And what I'm asking people to do is not survive. I want them to thrive. And the way to do it is to be creative. It simply put is finding a new way for your brain to work. You alone know yourself more than anybody else in the whole entire world. Will always know yourself, especially intimately. And now I'm going to ask you, what habits have you developed? What patterns did you create in your own mind when you were being creative for survival purposes, and then stopped and stagnated and said, okay, this is the way I am? Super cop-out phrase to say, this is the way I am. No, this is the way you choose to be. It is the way that it is. You know, it is what it is. People say it all the time. No, it is the way you make it. And we don't give ourselves any thoughts. We don't give ourselves any pats on the back for developing ourselves thus far, but we're powerless all of a sudden. It's like the information's not there. How do I fix my depression? How do I fix a broken heart? How do I stop being lonely? Says everyone. Everyone on this channel, everyone watching has gone through all these ranges of emotions. Now, most of us, we're highlighting only the good ones, right? This is how Instagram works. We want you to believe that our ego and our avatar is who we are. That if we send that person out there, the one that's all polished, the one that's smiling, the one that looks like it's got his shit together, nobody will see the other guy that doesn't have their shit together, that's sucking their thumb in the fetal position, because that's what life does to us. It gives us a whole menu. And we're over here going just half the menu to select from. Man, I got cotton mouth. Half the menu to select from, when there's a pre-meal, there's the main course, there's entrees and appetizers. You're missing on the dessert. Some of y'all just going straight to the dessert and getting your buzz on. You're getting the fats, the oils, the sugars, because you're feeling unstable. So what we learned is that here's how we make ourselves stable. Each one of us, different backgrounds, different genetics, different way to make ourselves feel calm or anti-anxiety or anti-survival. We've used external things to placate ourselves, like sex, purchasing, or posting, right? We're looking desperately out into the world for somebody to communicate with. And the real part is we have ourselves to communicate with. We have plenty of time to sit there and say, shh, 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 command you. Shh, you're a child. Your brain is a fucking child that you should tell what not to do. Don't put that in your mouth. You would tell a child that in a heartbeat. My buddy was being so funny. He was saying that like when he gets older, he'll probably still tell his kids at 80 years old, put that back. Don't touch that. He's gonna still baby his kids. Well, baby yourself, man. Get in the sauna. Go for walks. Get some fresh air. It doesn't always have to be food rewards. Let me see. I'll show me some water. I got no water. Okay. Well, when I get back, we'll get some water. But that's where I'm at. I'm at that level in my life where I was gonna say, you know, the suffering thing is a pattern for me. This depression thing is a pattern for me. Every time something goes bad in my life, I celebrate the high highs and I admonish the low lows, right? I don't want to talk about it. I don't know. I want to identify with my dichotomy. I only want to talk about the good stuff. I only want to show you the things that highlight in my life instead of showing a real life that has ups and downs. It's not just smiles, but there's frowns. And what are we going to do when the frowns come? Because they're coming. Most people want to live in reality. Well, if you make enough money, you'll never frown. That's a lie. Really rich people aren't happy. I talk about it all the time. Yay. There. Yeah. At first gulps the driest. Okay, only a little bit of water. I got some fresh reverse osmosis water at home. But this is what has to take place. I have to go live for an hour to get really deep subjects into people's minds and mind, body, soul. For us to stay healthy, we have healthier thoughts. We stop treating our body like this emergency vessel. You wouldn't always go to your lifeboats, but that's what we do. We go to our lifeboats instead of steering our actual boat and adjusting the sails. We immediately abandon our boat. We abandon our bodies. We abandon all reason, and we abandon shit. How many people are still sticking around with this? How many of us have abandoned our own ship and let ourselves down? How many people have, when the chances were ripe enough to learn a new pattern, you just said, that's the way I am, or that's the way it is, or I just got to find somebody else. Instead of adjusting ourselves, instead of correcting the pattern and taking accountability for it, we stay in our patterns and wonder why nothing's changed. And if nothing changes, guys. I mean, you can't expect yourself to find a new path without looking, without putting in some of the work and saying, you know, for my whole life, I've decided to, whenever I didn't feel a certain type of way, that I would grab something to eat, that food would save my day. And that's the only solution that I know. I'm going to be honest. I want you to be honest while I do these pull-ups. I want you to be honest. What type of patterns have you taken to keep your survival mechanisms up? I'll wait. Yeah. How many of us have held a pattern that we think, you know, if I stay really stressed out, I'll be able to survive these bills and I'll make up energy. Instead of energy, I'll use anxiety to fuel my fire. I'll use pressure and self-whipping and self-harm to get the results that I'm looking for. If you're being honest, you probably won't say that. You probably won't say that. And to be even more honest, you're probably not doing anything. And that's the shock. This is why I do this message. It's for those people. Wait, someone just, what do you say? Yo, that's a hard beast to tame. That's what we do with our time. We tame our beast, bro. We do that with our time. instead of sitting around and trying to feel no pain or and get no gain and wait. A lot of sitting, a lot of waiting instead of calculating and conversating. We're gonna isolate. A lot of us do this. We go inside of ourselves and we placate ourselves, rush to grab a movie, rush to get the endorphins from relaxation, rush to this convenience store, which has no convenience at all, saying Red Dragon on the side, right? Like, that's what we do. Oh, it's a gambling. So not only that, but now I could get my cigarette, my beer, it's on the side. Everything that you want to keep you away from who you actually are is on the side of this. You know, giving you 24-hour look, gambling. You'll feel better. You won't be as lonely. There's a machine that'll steal your money and keep you entertained. We'll say pizza, alcohol, all of it, bro. Spirits, the cheese, the cigarettes, the alcohol, it's all in there, man. It's all in there for us to get it. And that's what has to happen. What's up? What up? Tell him, bro.
How you doing, man?
Beards on shirts, man.
Right, baby.
Beards on shirts. Be the boss. So it's my local guy. He's testing the sprinklers out, making sure it works and making sure our lives work for us. That's what I'm doing on this show, is making sure that our lives work for us and that our brains work for us instead of against us. If you're anything like me, you started noticing that I had a propensity to depression, that I had a propensity to being emotional, that I always took things so hard. Like, I still take my parents' divorce hard. It happened when I was 10, I'm 42. That's over 30 years ago. And there I go into my Rolodex and go, here's my trauma card. Let me make sure it gets stamped. Let me make sure that I'm still stressed. Let me make sure that I still have that survival mechanism that I needed when I was 10. I'm still using when I'm 42. And that's what happened to me. I went right back to that. I went right back to that divorce scenario. I went right back to that fear level. I went right back to that monkey yelling, screaming, and hitting instead of smart monkey that developed the brain and writing skills and journaling and healthy alternatives. No, I want to be a stupid monkey. I want to hit when I'm confused. I want to yell. I want to be dominant. I want to pound my chest and say, I'm alpha. And then no one's around. I out-alpha'd everybody. I out-alpha'd myself. I totally convinced myself that I had to completely dominate and smash everything. And now why my results were different. And why I had overreacted. And how I had no control. And how I was in a survival mode instead of a thriving mode. Can I say thrival? Thriving mode. It wasn't there. I wasn't calm enough. I didn't have enough self-conversations with myself when it was needed, right? Like I tell my students, you need to pay attention now. You need to listen to me now. I know it's hard 8, 9 o'clock in the morning to pay attention to some bearded dude that won't shut the fuck up, but listen to me now. Hear me now. When I tell them now, hear me now. Hear me now. It is going to be far too late to learn English when you're a police officer or the judge. It is going to be far too late to need that skill set when I'm arguing with my baby mama and I'm acting like my dad. Never had any conversations about this, but because I didn't do the homework, I kept placating myself. Who's to blame? I look around, a lot of cartoons on Saturday morning, a missing father around my family. It's literally the destruction of our society. Our families are breaking down, and so is our society. It goes hand in hand. We don't know how to talk to each other. We're around the that we love, and we're not saying anything. We're completely ignoring them. Oh, that's your channel on Netflix. Instead of even watching the same movies anymore, they separated us in our own Netflix accounts. You have your own program channel. You're your own YouTube channel. Didn't even know it. You're like, shit, let me go look at my history. Oh, shit. All I did was look at drama, fixated on. Well, if I fixate on it, it's going to change it, right? As long as I fixate on it, man, this fixating ability, I forget what it's called in psychology, but man, do we miss the opportunity to live. You know, when they said that you're in a healthy brain is when time goes by and you don't even notice it. How many of us are clocking time? How many of us can't wait to clock out of our jobs? Or we're in our heads beating ourselves up over our bodies. There's a lot of insecurities. And when you look back at what the time's spent on, right, when you need that the most, when you're going to need your proper attitude and proper focus and health, they're going to look at you. This is like when we see fat people, we can see the broken in your brain. We can see every time you lost your willpower. Now, if you're looking at a skinny person, not most of them see, but when you see a really skinny person, there's anorexia right there. They've lost their willpower. They've lost their will to live. They've lost the will to tell their brain what to do. And now they're just full of emotions and stories that they've told themselves. They were saying this about women. Hear me out now. The anorexic women all did the same thing when they walked into the room. The doors are the same. They're small as fuck, but they went in through the door sideways. They've been telling themselves. It's almost like being a transvestite. I'm a woman. I have a penis down there, but I'm a woman. You know, I've been to Thailand, and the ladyboy epidemic is there. There's so many people cross-gendered, and they have to tell themselves and convince themselves through hormones, sex jobs, boob jobs, you name it, to get another reality. So when we talk about fake realities or convincing ourselves of such, man, we got a powerful brain. Holy shit, we want to believe whatever we want to believe. And that's what we'll do. We'll deceive ourselves. We'll deceive ourselves with lies and say, oh, well, she didn't love me. Or maybe you weren't loving yourself. This is a what the fuck moment. These are that big moments in your lives where you're like, shit, I didn't know that because I was always in survival mode. I didn't know that my brain was operating that way. I was being emotional. It took me 42 years to realize I was being emotional. No one sat down 8-year-old Marky and say, why are you crying, buddy? Why do you go into trees, climb trees and cry by yourself, Mark, when you're 10 years old? You're an emotional dude. These emotions are going to lead you to make really rash or irrational decisions. They're going to get you spun up in moments that really didn't require that much energy. And it's also going to get you confused in communication where you hear things that didn't take place. How many of us have done that, have made up our own scenarios, because that's what our brains do, especially about our past, because we needed to still get the buzz. We still needed to hit like 8 years old. Man, back in the day when that cocaine in the 80s used to hit, this is that cocaine in the 80s getting hit. You were literally reliving your 80s. I grew up in the 80s, so the 80s childhood. You know, I look back when I could have had conversations with my father to have emotional stability and see how men process emotions. It didn't happen. He was drunk and I was watching cartoons. It didn't happen. So when I needed the skill set to have interpersonal communication, it wasn't there because I didn't do the work. I had no new patterns of my neurotransmitters. I didn't have any way for my brain to process things differently. And I went right back to the same well. And you'll drink anything. I was reading this. The guy that was grateful, but he got kidnapped in Algiers. It was like the 16th century and back in slavery. And all the Turkish people came into Iceland and captured all these people. They had never seen anything like it. Dudes got off the boat, 300 people rushed up the road, grabbed everybody, took them to a new life. And what's interesting is that these people weren't making it. They weren't used to it. They're from Iceland, bro. They're not used to the hot weather of Turkey or Las Vegas. They started dying and started getting diseases, and they couldn't figure it out. They're like, they weren't built for that. They didn't have any way to adapt to that. They've just been changed too suddenly. And that's what happens with us. Either we try to crash diet and change too suddenly, or we don't do anything consistently to get change. And that's what ends up happening. We've given up on ourselves. Well, that didn't work. Go back to the old ways. I'm going to go right back to making my bartender my psychologist. That ain't working. How many times do we go back to it? How many times have you said Monday morning, I'm going to start working out. I'm going to start eating right. I'm going to do right by my body. How many times? And then how many times did you go drinking the next weekend because you were truly just lonely? You might want to be working out because you've realized as a smart monkey that you get a better potential mate and you feel better. I mean, besides for the selfishness of feeling better, we've realized that we can get, I don't know, more for our money, more bang for our buck, right? No monkey wants to get less. No monkey wants to get a carrot instead of a grape. We all want our grapes. We all want our rewards. So now we're in a reward system. Now we're in a chemical warfare with what is rewarded in our brains. What do we reward in our brains? Well, usually it's rewarded by food. That's what dopamine is. It's the same thing that makes us feel good when we're having sex. It's telling us this is a good thing. You need to have it. Procreation's the way. Otherwise, you would have stayed in your tree, crying by yourself, being alone, being weird, doing the same weird patterns that you've been doing your whole life. Man, I got cotton out bad. But it needed to be said. It still needs to be said that our patterns and our thoughts are killing us. That's why I saw killing thoughts. Because these killer thoughts have happened in the past, but they're killing our future. They're killing our progress. And we don't want to see it that way. We want to be emotional. We don't want to see, we want to feel. How many times have people always said that? Well, you made me feel, or you triggered me, or you hurt my feelings. We allow our feelings to get hurt. We allow ourselves to stagnate and stay the same, but nobody wants to talk about it. And I was like, a Saint's addiction. We gotta talk about it. We gotta talk about the healing. We gotta talk about the missteps and the things that don't work so that we can go to what does work and start making our minds work for us. And that's what we're talking about. Let me get some water. Boy, get it in. Get this blunt. Oh, man. Get some more water. Let's roll a blunt. We got about 15 minutes on this 1 hour live here on Saint's Addiction. And then we go live for another hour and open it up to people that can admit being addicted to their emotions, that can admit that this is their pattern and that they've chosen certain patterns in their lives and said, yep, this is the way I am. This is the way it's going to be. Let me convince you of it, and let me tell you why. Let me tell you about all the traumas of my life that added up to my reason for being this way. And that's what we'll do. We'll prove to you why we're emotional. We'll prove to you why the events have given us the behavior, and we didn't even know that we were still stuck on that belief. We end up still staying stuck to emotions and feelings that happened a long time ago because we got a buzz off of it. And most people don't know their addictions. It's the truth. We just don't know our own addiction. We don't know our own strength. We don't know, the power of our own minds. And then all of a sudden we're like, how did I get here? How did this all happen? Why did this happen to me? It's like, because you had a lesson to learn, bro. Our lessons keep coming towards us. They're coming for us, and they ain't gonna stop till they have a conversation with us, kind of like a cop. It ain't gonna stop till you've actually came and talked to them. You got to talk to yourself and say, hey, yo, you. Yeah, you. Remember me? I'm your subconscious. I'm the one that's been telling you that you need to be fight or flight. I'm the one that's been whispering you that you're not good enough. I'm the one that's been telling you that you need your ego to survive. I'm the sneaky voice that haunts you in your sleeps. I'm the thing that's been giving you insomnia. I'm the thing that's been giving you anxiety. I don't want you to learn a way around me. I want you to always need me. I want you to always be stuck in this situation with me. And I don't want you to ever leave, because that's what our ego does. It makes you believe that you need it. And they don't want you to level up and not need your ego. God forbid you do that. God forbid you learn a better pattern than your parents. than going to the bar and drinking alcohol or seeking random sexual partners just to feel appreciated. No, we're going to keep doing the same shit over and over and expecting different results. And we don't know why. We don't know why our lives are living a lie and why our brains are trying to buck things that we know ain't true, but we play the same movies. Play it back, play it against Sam, you know? That's what we do. We want to play the same movie over and over in our heads and expecting a different ending. And that's not going to work. That's not going to work. Let's get this working real quick, shall we? Whew. Welcome to the panic room. And all your life has been a thing. Dream, baby. Keep dreaming. I'm gonna have to get a real dream and a real reality here, because that's what's gonna take to get real change. And that's what I wanted. I wanted real healing. And the only way to do that was stop torturing myself with my thoughts and stop beating myself with the results and realizing that I'm not alone. A lot of us do it. And it's unconscious, and it's unconscionable that we, as all the animal species that are out there, we as humans, we hold on to stress and we process it to keep it the same. We are literally keeping ourselves in the same frame. And instead of finding different ways to think, different ways for our brains to work. And so interesting that we can do this, but our brains have been working one way. They'd be probably working against us. You know, it's been using the way that we developed when we were 10 years old, but it's not developing enough to be not a primary thought. Like a primitive primary thought is just monkey see, monkey do, but these monkeys have it better than us. They can be normal again. How long do you take to get undone with your stress? Like, how long does it take you to recover? Now, hear me now, feel this out. When Felix Trinidad was working out, they had tested his heart rate, and to get it up to whatever 120 beats per minute or whatever is peak conditioning, the real conditioning wasn't getting your heart rate up. That's the easy part. The real conditioning is getting your heart rate back to a normal rate. That's how you know if you're conditioned. It isn't how fast you can get ratcheted up. It's how fast you can calm the fuck down. That's how fast you know that your body is processing oxygen fast enough that you can skip what's the thing, atrophy, and stop building cortisol in your system and start healing your body instead of getting not cortisol. Cortisol is the stress, but what's the stuff that you get when you're when you work out and it builds up in your system? That stuff. That's what we're talking about. But anyway, we need to roll a blunt. But he could get in like less than a minute from being like a top peak performance over 100 beats per minute to back down to 60 beats per minute, his normal resting heart rate, within like a minute, bro. He only needed that minute between rounds to get right back to normal. I wish that was like life, that you could go out and be, fuck you, bam, 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 full on atrocities, full on anger, full on blast, boom, 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 boom. Oh shit, I'm getting hit too. Extreme to back to the corner. People are coaching you, they're loving you, they're fixing your cuts, they're letting you get a break, and then you can breathe again. That's us. That's our system, just full bore. Wham, bam, bam, boo, bap, bap. Everybody's talking about my Jerry curl. Yeah, I get sometimes they get them to stick out. See if I can get another one going. They're in here somewhere. But yeah, dude, I'm sick of being a running rabbit. I'm sick of being a surviving deer. I'm sick of being a survivor. You know, I used it my whole life, you know, to get through my parents' divorce or South Korean prison or other survival mechanisms, and it's not working. It's almost like the drugs, you know, the anger isn't working anymore. It used to placate me. It'd be the only thing that I need was to be fiery. That all I had to do was fight a little bit, and then I had what I needed, and then everything would be all right. I sound like Mike Tyson. He kept saying, all I know is every time I knock somebody out, my life got better. And how many of us can say that the stress has made our lives better? The money didn't make us better. He perceived it making it better. We perceive that it's going to fix everything. As soon as I get this money, as soon as I get this car, I'm going to get this wife, I'm going to get this girlfriend, I'm going to get love. It's not going to work out that way. It's like our plans. We always have them so rosy, like our thought patterns, so rosy and so primrose that that's the way we developed our lives. We made a Disneyland of it so we could survive inside our minds, rocking around like the Willy Wonka of our own factory, checking on the minions and seeing, what are you doing, minions? What are you doing? Instead of, let me talk to myself. What do I want to happen? Instead of, oh, these things are happening to me and I have to concentrate on them so I can make the fire go out. We didn't stay creative to put fires out. We didn't create another fire extinguisher. We just kept the finger for the fire extinguisher in our hands. We're ready. We're getting a buzz off of it, like there's an actual buzz off of it, like a narcotic that we get from our emotions. And that was something that I was like, oh my God, that was the whoa moment of my life. Was like, oh my God, I thought I was doing really well by quitting drugs. I was like, that's all you got to do. The 80s, just say no, right? It's more than just saying no. It's keeping control in your mind. If you had a mind that didn't have depression, just think about that, and you never had insecurities, and you didn't have a trauma-filled life or past, how many people would really be on drugs? And there goes the rehabilitation part of it too. Is that really working? Is our punishment going to keep people from becoming prisoners or violent offenders? No, it's making people more angrier. Those monsters are going to get out. That's what I keep telling them. You can give them longer sentences. They're just going to become bigger monsters. And then we get scared in our society of all these people that we disavowed and disowned are now back in the streets. And now it's like mano y mano. We thought, oh, well, let me go in the suburbs. Let me get a big house. Let me get a security system. Let me get a wall. Let me make a bigger wall. Let me get in a gated community. I'm going to make so much money that I'm going to become untouchable. Oh my God, I'm on the street with this dude and he's in my face. Oh my God, he's asking for money. Oh my God, he's assaulting me. Oh my God, I'm reachable. People come into churches and shoot people. You don't want to be shot. We don't want people to be shot, but we don't want to heal anybody that's shooting people. We don't want to go into the prison systems and give them something to do. We're just saying, you just sit there. You just sit there and think about what you did. Even though we're not thinking about what we do. We're not thinking, we don't have any self-accountability that, oh shit, this is my pattern. I do this to make myself feel placated. I go and get things that are convenient because I'm too lazy. I'll go get some fast food because I'm too lazy to go shopping and make my own meals. I just gave my health and my wealth over to a corporation. How did this all happen? Your thoughts, dude. Your thoughts. 95% of it's all emotional. So if you're feeding yourself on a cocktail of hormones that are emotional hormones and you're getting a buzz off of it, if you're snorting your dopamine, if you can't wait to get some drama out of your life, then you literally have pre-programmed yourself to get off on the sauce. We all have a way of getting off. Ain't no one getting away from the porn and the sexual desires. Ain't no one getting away from the food and the cravings. This is all of us. All of our brains are on these drugs, But what they aren't on is education. They're not on a let me tell my brain what to do. And I'm in this last 7 minutes, and I'm not a doe. I'm not a deer in headlights. I'm not just gonna get flashed by something and I'm stuck. Like, oh shit, this is the way it is. I'm stuck. I can't move. I'm a deer in headlights. No, you can move. You can move your mind. You can move your body. You can move your mind to move your body, to move your thoughts, to move your soul. And now you're healing yourself instead of taking on all this negativity and all this cortisol and giving ourselves cancer and stressed out and giving ourselves heart attacks. That's what's happening. That's what's happening, and killing ourselves. We'll ratchet ourselves up with these emotions, and now we're on the buzz. Now I can't feel the same because I'm completely depressed because I'm devoid of dopamine. I'm devoid of oxytocin. I've totally squeezed it out through my thoughts. I went back into my thoughts and made a reality of, let me squeeze these old memories. Let me squeeze that 8-year-old memory. Let me get the 5-year-old me again, just so I can get a buzz. Shit, I'm all out of cocaine. I mean, emotions. I'm all out of opioids. I mean feelings. That's what it is, dude. That's what that energy is, man. We haven't noticed that we're on a buzz. It's almost like when you're unaware, like smoking cigarettes on a plane. Like, Who the fuck created that? Now that we're aware, we're going, that doesn't make sense. Why would you put cigarettes on a plane? But it happened. Why would you have alcohol in the boardroom? But it's still there. Like everybody can't wait to crack a deal, and then there's tequila involved. It's like, what? If that was lines of coke, it'd be inappropriate. If someone busted out a, yay, we just did $1 million, and starts flicking a fucking syringe full of opioids, that would be inappropriate. And that's what we do. We go, oh shit, this relationship's not working. Flick, 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 right into the vein. Depression. Give it to me. Give me drama. Give me the whole drama section of Blockbuster and some ice cream and some overeating. And I'm not a junkie. There's no syringe here. I'm swallowing my poisons. I'm allowed to eat. You know, everybody's got to eat, right? And it's like, yeah, you're allowed to eat, but what type of food are you eating? Did you ever seem to think that that's why they give you peanuts at a bar, because it's salty and it makes you drink more? You're like, what the fuck? That's why they put red and shiny objects at the kids' height level, so that your kids would want to buy more. They want to get the bright, shiny, not the healthy cereals. No, we need Fruit Loops. We need bright, shiny, artificial colors, artificial flavors, artificial feelings. And that's what we'll get stuck on. The artificial feeling of dopamine when you're masturbating. It's an artificial feeling. It's an artificial feeling that you're connected with your friends. You're just being curious and jealous, but it's an artificial feeling. Like, well, they like something of mine. It's time to check that notification. And we get buzzed off of reward systems and all sorts of triggers, like I told you out there, the gambling, the drinking. It's right outside the building. They're trying to entice you that if your brain is broken, and if your brain will desire synthetic dopamine, there's plenty of synthetic dopamine. It's just like synthetic steroids. You can do synthetic steroids. Sure, you'll get big, but your heart will get small, your dick will get small, your lifespan will get small. And they don't tell you that. They don't tell you that as soon as you do steroids, sure, you'll be Superman, but you'll die at 30. I remember distinctly an article that I read in your boys, what was his name? Sports Illustrated, where Jackie Joyner Kersey died, I forget, age 32, and she was FloJo. She had the bad nails and the bad hair, and she was all over the Sports Illustrated, them legs, girl, kick, girl, kick. She can't kick no more. She's dead. She didn't get to see the success. She got to see the gold medals. You can be a gold medalist, but is it worth it if you die at 30? And that's what the article was about. This was back in, I don't even know, 1994. But I think the article said something about bigger, faster, stronger. And anybody that's watching this, of course, they're going to want to be bigger, faster, stronger. That's the way they sell you on it. 6-pack abs, 6-minute abs. As long as you have abs, you'll be straight. You know, that's what the girl wants. They don't want abs. They want security, bro. They want financial security, emotional security. They want somebody that they can trust with their body and their futures. And you're over here doing sit-ups. You're thinking that that's what they want. Same with the women. They kept going on and getting an education and being a strong, independent woman that didn't need a man. And now you don't know how to communicate with men. You've completely omitted half the other gender species on this planet just because you want to be strong. Instead of being smart or working together, we ended up just wanting to be the only CEO, the only rock star, competing with each other. We didn't have any participation classes. It was all about producing classes. And that's where we are at right now in our lives. We're on some, what can I produce, how much money I can make, instead of how happy am I, or how I can be of service to somebody else. We're only serving ourselves. It's the truth of it. And just like the lady said, the love it's convenient love, you know. I only love you when it's convenient for me, or when you're doing something for me. It's not when, I'm only liking your stuff when you like my stuff. It's a weird reciprocity, instead of, I want you to get stronger because it makes me stronger. It makes me stronger by making other humans stronger. It gives me healing by teaching other people this. And this is the whole hour. It's the first hour right here on live on YouTube. But we're going to go live on My Saints Addiction channel. Anybody want to call in and make a comment, please do. You know, this is the healing that we all need, and I'm unlocking healing is what it is. It's unlocking our healing and the self abuse that we give ourselves, and the way that we talk to ourselves in our minds, and how much power we have over our minds and our world. It's all starting to come back to me, and I'm going to share it with you today. Let's go live, shall we? Okay, Saints addiction. We out here. We get it. How we live. Let's go live. Come on, ho. There we go. Oh, and that's another one too. If anybody gets a chance, it's not going through, but this one's called "Break the Addiction to Negative Thoughts and Negative Emotions." Break the addiction to negative thoughts and negative emotions. Break the addiction to negative thoughts and negative emotions. So important, so clutch. I'm about to go live, so let's get a little bit.
Most people try to create a new personal reality as the same personality, and it doesn't work. We literally have to become somebody else. So then you would have to agree with me then that all this information that you're learning today would inspire new thoughts, yes? And new thoughts should lead to new choices, yes? And new choices should lead to new behaviors. And new behaviors should lead to new experiences. And then new experiences should create new emotions, yes? And new emotions should inspire new thoughts, and that's called evolution, yes? So then those emotions that Greg was talking about this morning, the majority of people in the Western world spend the majority of their life living by the hormones of stress. Now, stress is when your body's knocked out of homeostasis. The stress response is what your body innately does to return itself back to order. That's the first definition of resilience. Now, you have three types of stress. You have physical stress, like an injury, an accident, a fall, a trauma. You have chemical stress, like viruses and bacteria and blood sugar levels and heavy metals and hormones and foods and hangovers. And then you have emotional stress, right? Traffic jams and internet connections and second mortgages and single parenting and 401ks. And each one of those things knocks your brain and body out of balance. And all organisms in nature can tolerate short-term stress. If the deer gets chased by a pack of coyotes, if the deer outruns the coyotes, 15 minutes later it goes back to grazing and the stress is over.
Gone.
Human beings are different.
What's up
We
to
can
being different?
turn on the stress response just by thought alone. You can
We're
begin
stressing
to
ourselves
think
out.
about some future worst case scenario, and because the privilege of human beings is that we can make thought more real than anything else, we can focus on that possibility to the exclusion of everything else. And you can knock your body out of physiological balance just by thought alone. And your body, as the unconscious mind, believes it's in that experience in the present moment. And we can unfold past bitter memories that are tattooed in the recesses of our gray matter. And like magic, we bring them to life. And in that moment, it's real. And so the hormones of stress, long-term, push the genetic buttons that create disease. And no organism can tolerate living in emergency mode for extended periods of time.
And that's what we've done. We've stayed in our own emergency zone, and we've thought it was a survival mode, and it's ratcheted up our heart rates. It's killing our family structures. It's killing ourselves. We're allowing cancer to take root. We're allowing those things to come inside of our lives, and make us weaker. So the weak thoughts become a weak body, and then we become weaker. The energy goes lower, even though this one's trying to rage his energy through a motorcycle. You know, we don't rage our energy or calculate our energy through our own bodies. And that's why we're gonna have to go live right now. Let's get it, shall we? Yes. Yes, bless. Let's get it in. Boom, baby, boom. Rise and shine. It's your morning marijuana Salvation time. I'm your host with the most, Marky Saint. This is Saint's Addiction. We over here dreaming, but more than dreaming, we're actualizing. This is the logo. Got it on my chest. This is the live. We're going live right now. No stress. And then this is the energy of the show to raid on everybody to get them to get some change. Morning, y'all. We are ambassadors of change, and this morning we are gonna get it. No matter where you get it from, I want you to get it, and it doesn't even matter if you even get it from this channel. I want you to get something out of growth today, and this is why we've been going live already for an hour on YouTube, going deep into psychology like we always do. That's Saint's Addiction, and we're going to be honest about addictions. And today we're being honest about our addictions to our emotions, our addictions to feeling a certain type of way, our addictions to our patterns. And I just didn't realize it today, but I'm dropping some knowledge for everybody that needs it. You are literally addicted to your emotions. And that's like, whoa, hello. More than addicted to my weed, I always called it Saint's Addiction, or an addiction to nicotine, or an addiction to alcohol. We get a buzz. We literally transform ourselves from these feelings. We have come to get to know how we survive our own minds, and that chemical, those hormones, the DNA that we trigger inside of ourselves is literally the way that our brains work. We have taught ourselves certain conditions. Most of us have taught ourselves that by ratcheting up our anxiety, we get into a survival mode. We generate enough energy to survive whatever's in front of us. Man, that tastes good. Instead of looking at our brains differently and getting ourselves to rewire our brains, literally jump start it with fruits and vegetables, jump start it with exercise, jump start it with knowledge, we'll go back. We'll stay inside of Rolodexes of memories because they give us a certain feeling. It's almost like honoring those feelings, you know. You go back to it, and as long as I miss my grandfather, I'm honoring him, you know. It's been how many years ago, decades ago, but we'll do that. We'll touch our emotions again and say, hey, emotion, remember me? I need that buzz again. I need you to give me the emotional response to make my brain act, so that way I can get the same reaction. I'm looking to relive emotions. How many of us can be honest about that? How many of us can be honest about the lives that we live and the habits that we keep taking on? How many of us can be honest about the way that we treat other people and the way that we treat ourselves? Are we sitting long enough to have conversations with ourselves and see the patterns of our minds? I think it's called Vipsana, for 10 days of no masturbation, no talking, no opposite sex, no stimulus, basically. But they practice it in prisons, and it's getting lower anger results and lower riots and all this other things. But hear me now: to sit long enough to shut your fucking brain up and not be on a computer and not be on a phone, but literally to see where your mind rushes to. What does your mind do? Like, seriously, as soon as you wake up, your fresh mind, does it start, I gotta get up, I got an alarm clock? You start shortening your breath, you start pumping cortisol, and that's your energy. Some people don't even eat breakfast, they eat stress for breakfast. And that's just the truth of it. They're so ratchet and it's so snare jump tight that they haven't even break the fast of sleeping a solid 8 hours like they should have. They might have interrupted it to 4 to 6. They're not comfortable hours. That's where insomnia comes in. I keep telling you, they're part of our minds that whisper to us. There are rooms in our minds that are secretly still dark and secretly still have a voice, a dark voice. And unfortunately, that's like why most people watch horror. They want a buzz. That's why most people eat hot food. They want a buzz, and that's why a lot of people act the way that they do. They want attention. They're acting out. They're slamming dishes. They're knocking on doors. They're interrupting you. They're trying to get into your zone, but only you can be in your zone. You can see things try to impact your zone. You can see things try to impact your energy and try to take place, demand place inside of your life, and in your and the demanding part of it is the ruthless part of it. That's when you know it doesn't belong there, because it demanded it. Love doesn't demand, love asks. You know, that's what I was telling one time with my spiritual mentor. What did he say? There's no love in force. You won't have to force this. There won't have to be a force of someone inside of your life telling you what to do. This is your mind literally healing your own mind. This is us tracking our minds and sitting still enough to say, hey, this is the way my mind works. I've seen it run. I sat still enough to see my mind run around. It's the first time I ever got to meditate, but it was a shocking revelation to see my mind want to rush take a shower, rush do something. It wanted to rush brush my teeth. Elise, thanks for watching. Long time no see. This morning we're talking about um, killer emotions, and how our emotions start killing us and how we stay emotional and get this buzz. And there's an addiction to the buzz. So, as an addiction expert, I'm going to say I'm an addiction expert. I got my psychology degree, named my company Saints Addiction. We talk about this stuff in depth. My father's an addict. I think everyone's an addict on some level, right? Nobody's completely sober. But that being said, getting off of our emotions is another form of sobriety. Most people don't have that energy. It's too much for them to say, oh my God, I'm fully emotional. I'm so powerful. Let me get some control over these thoughts. Let me be the one that controls my thoughts instead of my feelings controlling my thoughts and now dictating the mood. And what's interesting, what the doctor was saying was a mood becomes an attitude, becomes a personality. Like whatever oh man, I just been in a mood. This thing happened a week ago, and now you say, now it becomes a part of you. Now it's part of your personality. Well, now you say, well, this trauma happened in my life. It went from being a week ago to being 20 years ago and still having the emotional connection to it and still getting a buzz off of 20-year-old drugs. And that's how emotions are. We get a firing. We are so chemically balanced for receptors to get any sort of stimulus, whether it be sound, sex, stimulus, we are ready for it. And instead of calming our minds, we're insatiated. We're absorbing it at such a high rate. It's never enough flicks on our phone. It's hours. It's not enough for minutes. We don't get done. We need hours of it. That's hours we could be spent tracking our mind thoughts and seeing the ones cultivating new pathways in our brain and learning new pathways. And then literally like, okay, I'm done being on the suffering pathway. I want to be on the healing pathway. I want to stop interrupting people. Why am I so anxious? I don't know. Why are you holding on to anxiety? Because it gives you a buzz. You're like, holy shit, Saint. A rational person would say, I would drop it. Like a hot potato, I would drop it. I wouldn't touch a hot stove. I wouldn't, it's red hot. There's no fucking way in hell I would ever do something like that in my life. But we do that in our lives all the time. We'll hold on to old emotions and traumas and call it our personality. We learned behaviors and now it's part of our behavior. And instead of outlearning these behaviors, we assume the future's like the past. It is such a bad decision to assume that, well, I learned that my relationships are going to be bad because this relationship's going to be bad. Is it the same person? Are you the same person? No. None of us are. We're not the same person, but we're holding on to the same emotion. We're processing it the same way through the same transmitters. That's asinine. Like we're never learned a different way. We've always just gonna assume. You know what I mean? When people become pessimistic in their personality, they just assume I'm not gonna win. That's what old man Dave used to say. I'm never gonna win. I never win anything. You can already see the self-deprecation of it. Him taking away his own shine. He literally did that. He literally went in there and sabotaged himself. How many of us are sabotaging ourselves? Or do you really want ice cream or do you want a hug? You know what I mean? Do you really want sex or do you really want love? What are you really asking for? And ask your brain to do it. Ask your own brain to solve your topic and reach up inside your mind and say, okay, brain, time to get to work. You've been masturbating, you've been Netflixing, you've been distracting yourself with any and all things, social media included, and never did you once say, your mind, yo, you need to focus. What are you focusing on? Well, lately I've been on this drama tip. And the people will tell you, they'll be honest. Like, you give them a chance. We talked yesterday with Desert Eagle. Hopefully he gets the call in today. We had to cut him short because the live went short. It only goes an hour on Instagram Live. But, when he called in, his mom has stage 4 cancer. She's moved in with him and his girl. All their plans are laid to waste. Now they're watching their mom. She takes up a lot of energy. She's her own energy. Everybody's their own energy. Everybody handles their own energy differently. And how many of this is calibrated? How many of this is in balance? And how much of this is thrown off our balance? We're throwing off our balance all the time. We're throwing off our emotional stability. We throw off, especially with chemical warfare, because then it's like my thoughts kept me up at night. So now my insomnia threw off my sleeping schedule, or I couldn't control my own emotions. So now I'm overeating, and now I'm full of, like soda pop will give you a quick buzz. It's really hard to get off these drugs. It's really hard to get off soda. I mean, you really only need water, but we have 200 different flavors of sodas. There's 200 different ways for you to go, that's the thing. I'm a Dr. Pepper kind of guy, or I'm a Coca-Cola kind of guy. And I literally saw a man in Brazil in front of his whole family praying for the strength not to drink Coca-Cola at the end of the meal, to not have a sugar rush, to not fall into the sensation of sugar. I'm praying along with him for his strength, and I wasn't wanting any soda because I'm over soda cravings, but I still get my addiction off of chocolate. I still love my sugar. I have to watch it. I'll be trying to kiss her every night before I go to bed. Still did 4 Mexican pizzas yesterday because they came back, and I'm addicted to Taco Bell. I know my addictions. I had to ask myself, what makes me tick? What gives me a buzz? What keeps me afloat? And what makes me do the long hours? Makes me do the 2 hours of shows? How's it going to get me through? This is what gets me through. It's the desire to want to live a life that's improving, that has less suffering, that actually has healing. And I'm not traumatized by my childhood anymore. And I'm not saying weird shit in the middle of conversations. And I'm not being destructive to myself or others. This is a life I want to live. I can almost feel it as I say it. Yes, the energy. I can feel it while I say it. It's like, wow, man, it's a cliche to say, your thoughts create your emotions. That's easy to say. It's really hard to explain over an hour to say, holy shit, I get a pattern. I'm this type of way with my thoughts. I'm assumptive. I jump to conclusions. I'm interruptive. I can feel it inside me. And then I went, okay, cool. So if that's the way my brain's working, here's a better way to watch my brain work. Hold on, let me look a YouTube video this morning and every night and digest some of these experts and explaining to us that we're the only creatures on this planet that hold the grudges. We're the only ones that hold on to emotions from the past and create it in the now and project it into the future. That I'm going to always have a heartache, This too shall pass? No, we always say it's happening now. I'm buzzing now. I'm flying high on the friendly skies. I'm on the sugar. I'm eating all the donuts. I'm eating all the salts. I'm drinking all the alcohol. I'm swallowing all the fun because that's the way my brain works. I have beaten and toiled myself on a job that I didn't like, and now my joints hurt, and the only way to ease my pain and ease my mind is a beer, said everyone since the Egyptians. Like, literally. And I see it in my father too, like working construction. No wonder why you want alcohol. You're going to need something to numb the pain. And that's what we do. We have thought patterns to numb our pain. We'll go through sections of our frontal lobe and into or past our limbic system into our frontal lobe. I mean, do you even know all the parts of the brain? Me, I'm still studying it. And you're like, well, that's for a doctor. Man, you need to know your organs. You would know if you pulled your groin. You know where your Achilles heel is. These are part of our bodies, but we don't explore it again in our mind. There are rooms in everyone's mind of insecure thoughts, improper thoughts, sexual thoughts, murderous thoughts. There's so many of us. There's so many sections in the books, in the movies, like fantasies, fictions, But at least track it. At least track yourself. Almost like my taxes. I had to track myself. And yes, I eat too much Taco Bell. And I'm sitting there with my tax attorney and said, Taco Bell, Taco Bell, Taco Bell, Taco. And I'm like, oh my God, bro, break this addiction. It's staring you in the face. And I went and got 4 Mexican pizzas yesterday. I mean, I am as guilty as anyone of being fragile and fickle and switching my dichotomy and my principles at whim. I'm the same way. I saw the guy interview Jordan Peterson. He's like, I haven't read a book since high school. I don't work out. I'm a vegan that ate butter chicken last night. We're all dichotomy. And he was being honest about himself. And Jordan Peterson, well, if I had known that, I wouldn't have got on the show. He said I would have sat here for the interview. But if you would have known, if all of us would have known, that's what I want us to do is know. I want us to know now that we are literally addicted to our emotions. It's not just drugs. I mean, it's like literally the gateway drug to all the drugs is emotions. And they don't want to tell us that. They don't want us to have emotional stability. But if you were emotionally stable and you had a healthy mindset and a healthy body and you were eating the right things and you were talking to yourself the right way, you wouldn't run out and have gambling addictions. You wouldn't run out and have purchasing addictions, retail therapy. All that stuff would stop. All that stuff would stop. And people know that. The government knows it, or everybody puts on the government, the systems know that, businessmen know that, but they also know that you're weak. So that's the reason they always want me to have alcohol sales at my festivals, because that's where all the money's at. I'm not doing it for the money, so, and I don't want the alcohol vibe, so there that goes. But it entices you. Similar like a cigarette ad, it's going to entice you. You're gonna be beautiful. You're gonna learn look a certain way. Everybody's cool that smokes. They're not showing the old lady with no teeth, with the wrinkly skin. They're not showing you the end results to these things. They're not showing you what you look like. I mean, we all know that Americans are overweight, but that's all them, right? They're just thick, right? I'm just thick. No, you're unhealthy. These are oils in our hearts, and it's gonna make it pump weird. But instead of going for walks, we'll go for talks, and we'll just talk and talk and talk and talk. And instead of shutting up and staying quiet and being calm and having conversations, no, not even conversations, watching the conversations of our minds. Oh, you forgot to do something. This is important. Go get the phone. The little random time to go to the bathroom. If you can stop I gotta go to the bathroom, I gotta be somewhere else, and I can hold myself in the now and not be distracted by outer distractions, to be interrupted, to not interrupt my own thoughts, so I can sit there and go, okay, all right, I tend to run very fast with my thoughts. I tend to run it everywhere. Why am I running? Why is my brain in a self-defense mechanism? Why does my brain have the capabilities of survival? Am I thriving or surviving? Like literally, and the question is that, a thriving human being, the time just goes by. They don't have time to be insecure. They don't have time to be nosy. They don't have time to be interruptive. They don't have time to be jealous. They're too busy living their lives. You're too busy to know what's going on with somebody else, a celebrity, a stranger, a person you don't even fucking know. But if you're bored and you're uninitiated and you lack passion or insecure, there is plenty of celebrity gossip there for you. There is plenty of ways for you to live fictitiously through someone else's life. But to be ourselves, this is the spitting game. And say to ourselves, okay, how much of this is me? How much of this is my chosen suffering? How much of this is my brain trying to run on stress? How much did I just convert my engine? Because now it's your engine can be a diesel, it could be electric, it could be on gasoline. Did you choose your own fuel? What kind of fuel do you put in a Ferrari? The best kind. We don't do that for ourselves. And that was like shocking for psychology, and especially this morning, and learning that we can learn ourselves. We can learn a new pathway in our brains to say, okay, brain, the new thing you're going to fire on is that you're amazing. Like, what? Yeah, why are you saying that more often? Why is that your normal mantra? I'm amazing. I'm amazing on a regular basis, even during my mistakes and my failures. I'm amazing. I'm amazing because I keep trying hard and I'm consistent. You're amazing. You're amazing for showing up and battling these things that tortured the rest of your ancestors, the people before you, the people that are still weak on it, the people that still don't know how to cope. My father still doesn't have the balls to have a conversation with me. I'm your son. You think your parents have the balls to talk to you, right? How many of us feud? Am I the only one that's feuding with a sibling? Am I the only one that's ever feuded with a parent? Isn't that interesting? These people did everything to give you life and bring your life into the world and celebrated it. Now they're motherfucking you and not talking to you. Interesting. Interesting how our relationships break down and we just don't cultivate it. You want to know who a real friend is? I'll wait. Do you want to know what a real friend looks like? A real friend is somebody that you can tell bad news to. Wow. That you can trust them with your weakness. It's a real friend. And they won't use it against you. They won't use your weakness against you or judge you by it. That's why we call them friends. They're also the person that you can take good news to, because they will celebrate with you and not get jealous and not compare themselves to you. That's a friend. Good and bad. Warts and all, as my aunt used to say, this is all of us. And the reason this show's working is because it's all of our consciousness. It's all the things that we've been processing. All of us are most of us are operating on emotion mode. I said again, 95% of your decisions. How did I feel that day? I felt a wild hair up my ass. I went and bought a car. Happy chulo, thanks for coming in here. And you know what I'm saying too. We're talking about all the things that make our brains function. And it's a chemical war. And literally it's blasted not only by the foods, but the thoughts we've been pumping into them. We get to choose our thoughts. And for some reason, we go to the same fucking records. We wear them out. What's that? Stop 18. Thanks for watching, man. Thanks for hitting those likes. We wear it out. You're live here on YouTube Live. I've already been going live an hour, but today's such an important message. The last weeks and these 2 weeks of going deep, especially learning and reading, oh my God, it's opened up so much into my own mind that someone else took the diligence to track emotional stability, emotional intelligence. These are all two different books. The other one's Fuck Your Feelings. I highly suggest it. That one's by a Navy SEAL. If you get a chance, he tells you, fuck your feelings, bro. He tells it to your face, not only for a buzz, but fuck your feelings. They're lying to you. They've been lying to you your whole life. They kept you sitting there. I don't feel like working out. Said no one, says everyone, but no one ever gets to go and say, it's not that I have to work out. I get to work out. I have a body that still works. I have a body that still functions. I have my knees. I have my wits. I have my health. Like, I know, dude, go to the hospital then. That guy kept telling me, "Mate, I got problems, you got problems. Go to a children's hospital, they got problems." And that's like your life quickly adjusts perspective. Your life literally stops seeing the complaints and start seeing the blessings. You literally start seeing yourself being blessed and not stressed. You can see your new neurotransmitters, the new pathway in your brain to success and to a healthier thought, to give yourself a healthier body so you can pick a new healthier habit. These things are literally thoughts, habits, behavior, and giving ourselves a chance and stop getting on the same sauce. We always get on the same sauce. We always go like, you know what? I'm going to just stop talking to these motherfuckers. That doesn't work. Like Mike Tyson said, man, then the devil wins. The devil wins every time an abortion happens. The devil wins every time a friendship ends. The devil wins every time there's road rage. Every time we miscommunicate. Every time we prejudice. He's there. It's there. The fear's there. The way that we operate towards fear is there. If we're always going to respond this way, that's what we're going to get. We're going to get the same sauce. We get addicted to our emotions. And I was shocked. I was like, oh my God, I always reach for sugar at night. Maybe because I'm lonely, I'm reaching for sugar instead of reaching for real sugar. You know what I'm saying? Some real honey. Um, we don't say that stuff. We're lonely, so our phones placate that. Instead of holding someone's hands, we're holding someone's phone. We'll go like, I'd rather just, as long as I have someone to talk to. And that's why I did this show, for someone to call in. Not that I've ever had Stop 18. I've been thinking of this for the longest time, man. Yep. Let me get this out, and then I'll let you call in real quick. Let me get this energy out, because it was so key to my brain. Yesterday's brain thought was the suffering. It was just like, wow, man, I choose to kind of keep jostling this arrow. The first one's pain. That's regardless. But pain's gonna hit our hearts. You know, the breakups, the loss of family, loss of friends, loss of life. This is coming for you. It's like Cupid. It's coming for you. The second arrow is the suffering arrow. That's the one that we choose. That's us inside of our lives going like, I still regret. I still depressed. The moment has passed, but the emotion and the buzz is still available. We literally let our brains fire that way. Everybody asks, well, how do we stop negative thoughts? You're gonna have to develop some positive thoughts. You're literally gonna have to get your brain to rewire it. I call it, mind push-ups, but you're gonna have to push your mind up and train it to have positive mantras, and kill the ants, the automatic negative thoughts that we tell ourselves, and then realize the power of our thoughts. Start tracking them and see that that's what they call it, journaling. But when you start tracking it, your brain doesn't get to bounce from wall to wall anymore. Now you have to ask yourself, why do I run? Why can't I sit still? I'm an anxious being. I have no calm. I have no chill. Where did it go? That's where it went. That's where it went. We went to the drama first because we like the buzz. You don't believe me? Go check out how many women's books are bought and what section it's in. It beats being lonely, right? Why are we watching true crime stories? Why do we like murder mysteries, and why is horror still around? It gives us a buzz. Same like spicy food. What's it called when you have it? My friend called it. It's not, I think it's endorphins too. I think he gets a buzz from the endorphins. Like he literally can get endorphins to get him to go. Ooh, I feel it. I want us to get a new way of feeling. I want us to get rid of the old feelings and the old chapters and the things that are still old drugs, and say, I don't get high off those drugs no more. I don't, not that I don't talk about those events or I'm not unaware, I'm an adult, but I've kind of wore out that chapter in my life. In this new chapter in my life, I'm about living in the now. In this new chapter, I'm about creating new pathways in my brain so that way it can start functioning for me instead of against me. In this new chapter, I realized that the thoughts are so powerful that I've been torturing myself for eons on old thoughts when I can get some new ones. I can get some new drugs. I can combat my chemicals inside my brain, get a saintly addiction, go get my dream on. And now I'm like focused on creation instead of destruction. It's a miracle, but we can't in the same time be in our sadness, our depression, our self-loathing, and still be about our healing. And you got to kind of pick your poisons and really choose your drugs wisely and choose your thoughts wisely. Our minds are so powerful, we never even get a chance to go, okay, my mind's been on this sauce for a hot minute. I'm on the angry sauce. Like when Desert Eagle called in yesterday, he said his brothers can't wait to get fired off, and now their hearts are failing them. They've been juicing their hearts with the nitrous oxide. They've been hitting the horn in the car and boosted themselves so many times that they've outboosted their engine, they've outboosted their heart. We are making ourselves sick by our thoughts. And it's not just our foods and our governments or whatever, but literally our thoughts. If we spent more time being creative, healing ourselves, finding opportunity, learning how to communicate, learning new pathways in our brains, we'd be healing. We'd be powerful. And we'd be less in our our past and our traumas and the suffering, and we start becoming part of the healing. It's so amazing that we can give our brains that reprieve. We can give our lives a chance to change. And if nothing changes, nothing changes. So this is the change of the day. I don't know if Stop wants to get in on this, but this is the change of the day. Was Joe? Are you in? Is he in? The change of the day is to start picking new emotions. It's that simple. Just if we're addicted to emotions and choosing a new drug, go into ourselves and say, no longer will I be a firefighter. No longer will I be an anxiety type person. Right now, I'm going to practice my calm. Oh, he declined. Oh, no, dude, I didn't want to put you on the spot. I was trying to get people something that they can learn from. I've let people call in and share some of the things that they've learned and some of the emotions that they got addicted to. Thank you for the thumbs up. But I started tracking it in my own mind. Um, totally addicted to the drama. I got it from my mother. My mom have had phone calls where she's supposed to have cancer in her thumb or something, and what turned out to be not cancer and benign, and it wasn't even a surgery. But she couldn't wait to call me in the middle of an important convention and tell me this information because my mom's a drama queen. She'll dramatize and trivialize and build up things to where they're beyond any kind of recognizable proportion or even kind of anything that makes fucking any kind of sense whatsoever because it gets attention. And her brain and her DNA have lived up to that attention addiction for too long. And that's what I'm talking about. How many people have gotten into themselves and just like, I'm addicted to people coming. I need people to pay attention to me. I need to be noticed. I feel nothing. I feel a big drop off as soon as I'm off the live. Not me. I'm like, this is more of a lesson and a chore, and I'm on my job, and I'm being teacher Mark, and I have to convey an information to my students just like I did for a long time. I have a 2-hour set. I now got 24 minutes to close out the information and find another viewer to come in and get some clarification, because maybe the way I'm explaining isn't the best way. Maybe there's another way that works for your brain. That's why I tell you, seek this information. Go out there and maybe if it's not the links that we're putting below, or the video or the TED Talk or the motivational videos that we're about to make, if it's not them, then it might be something similar. We all need it a different way. But for sure, we're all thinking with our emotions. Our emotions are dictating our lives. They're literally making every decision for us, 95% of our decisions. You wouldn't reach for the ice cream if you weren't so lonely. You'd reach for something healthy. But when we're not healthy inside, we look for unhealthy things outside. Driving, sorry. Oh no, thank you though. You made my day, man. Oh man, that's what I love to do. Damn, we have a lot in common. My mom is the same. All of our moms, all these people that we get, and same with like our fathers, the inability to process emotions, and all we ever got to see was them in anger. We didn't see it as despair. We didn't see it as constructive. We just got to see it as outburst. No one explained his emotion to us. He can't explain his emotions to himself. Therefore, he can't explain to you how to be an emotional man. I just created something. How to be an emotional man. It's like, is this a book I gotta write to get rid of male toxicity, to get us talking to our brains and really start having the conversation? And it's just like, nah, man, I'm not just trying to get drunk. I'm trying to get numb. Why are you trying to get numb? Well, because I don't know how to communicate with my significant other. And since I don't, welcome to the show, guys. And since I can't communicate with my significant other, I'm getting stress. I'm stressing myself out. I'm stressing myself out with the thought of, what if they don't love me? What if I'm better off without them? We start going in scenarios, and all we do is self-consciously think and self-consciously beat ourselves up. Again, the tiger's not in the tree doing selfies or having self-esteem issues. We have too much time on our hands. If you have enough time to get self-conscious and and have self-esteem issues, this Night Lab and what does it say? Gay in Qatar. Go ahead, y'all. Welcome. If we have enough time to be self-conscious, then we're not doing what we're created to do. We're not living our life purpose.
We're not having enough motivation, like this show's about. We're not staying enough motivated to be completely addicted. And it's the same addiction on something that it takes over you. That this is the only thing that fucking matters is your dream, not your self esteem. You're worried about what other people think of you. That's a waste of time and space. It's a very tough game to play with your brain, and we beat ourselves down. We start buying cosmetics, fake eyelashes come on, the weight starts coming on, the spanks start coming on, and then you can't be yourself. Your warts and all, your insecurities. Everybody's trying to be busy looking perfect, and the first person that doesn't look perfect gets made fun of. Are those really your friends? Are these the mirrors that you want to emulate? This is a deep conversation. I mean, I'm almost talked about it for 2 hours, but I will talk about it for 2 hours because it was shocking to me. It was shocking to me that we were choosing our own suffering, and it was shocking to me that these emotions are choices, that they're an addiction, that we literally get addicted to the same choice over and over again. And instead of changing our thinking and changing our moods, we become personalities. They become traits. They go like, yo, I'm gonna live here forever. I'm always be bitching. I'm gonna always be upset. I'm gonna always be XYZ. And that's what we do. We choose. We choose what our personalities are. We choose our moods. And choose your mood, man. Pick one. And don't just pick one, pick several. There's so many different moods out there to have. Why do we pick the same ones? Why are we still playing the same old records? Why do we have to grab the trauma and hold it? And I was so curious to why I was so married to my emotions. I was like, suffering, I gotta suffer more. Whip, 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 whip. I'm like, none of this is making me feel better. And no, I don't want to be a callous robot that just goes, get over it, bitch. You know, like, I'm not trying to unhealthy these traumas. I'm not trying to process it in a bad way. Thank you for that energy boost. I'm not trying to process anything like that. So when I'm in flow and I'm doing things and I'm looking at it and I'm going like, if I can get some sort of calm in the storm, if I can learn a better way to react than to be triggered, that I don't want to be tortured by old thoughts. I don't want to be controlled, and I don't want to be interrupted. I don't want my flow to be interrupted. I don't want anything to stop me from being me. And that's one of the things that I really looked at it. It is just like, you know, um, finding my own energy and not from external sources. I can already start feeling the breeze. It's a slight, like, cool breeze, but again, just like that athlete being able to get to their root. We got calm CBDs, but to find your own calm, yo, I'm not my emotions. I'm not these random thoughts that keep plaguing me. I'm not my fucking parents. I'm not them. I'm not the way they react. I'm not the way they think. I'm not my fucking khakis. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. And the quicker I can find peace in my scenarios, the quicker I can be healed. I can feel it in my body. It's almost like a self massage. I can feel it like in my triceps and in my back, like almost like an angel's been striking upon me to just give me that. Man, whew, I've been holding on to. And the guy said it. There was radical people, and they would get enlightenment, but you'll go like, man, I've been holding on to some bricks for a long time, and they've been heavy. I thought I got rid of a lot of them, you know. I didn't realize that I was still on some anger and emotional addiction. I didn't know which ones I was under the belief of. You know, so many of us let our emotions take us over when we start revving our engines, spending our money, and whiling out when we could have had that time that we spent on social media, time with ourselves for self-development, reading a book, or sitting still long enough to have some clarity, and being still enough long enough to not want for anything. That really feels good. You know, I'm not running to my breakfast, I'm not running to an appointment, I'm not running to a phone call, I'm not interrupted or bothered. I'm not doing that anymore. You know, my life, you know, isn't on coffee in the morning and those routines. The person said, if you want to be successful, get up early, 6:30, whatever. Get up 5 or 6. Drink only water. You know, find some time to stretch your mind and your body. Be able to literally. This is not me high at all. This is a feeling that came over me, like again, like an angel that I just feel so much better when I'm not tortured by my thoughts. I don't know how to explain that. I don't have a thought or a worry to jump up. There's no, oh, you should worry about that. There's no pump of stress. There's no anxiety or cortisol or and what's an adrenaline or whatever else kind of fucking buzz that I normally seek to get things handled. The anger, like I said, I would use anger to get me up the stairs, and, like force and just force things and make it fit. And now I don't have to force anything. I'm free. I got to where I wanted to be, you know, and that's minus suffering. I think all of us want to just feel a little reprieve, a little calm, a lot less stress. And the choice is really ours. I mean, we could just switch our minds, like we're revving motorcycles. If we could just downshift it, you know, instead of revving it all the time. Revving it, you need to go faster, you got to be more productive, and then you get to a point where you're okay. There's nothing on fire, there's nothing that requires you or demands you to be anywhere that you don't want to be, and that's amazing. It's a really good feeling. I mean, that's what I always wanted to get to. I think Tony Robbins' definition of success is to do what you want, when you want, for as long as you want, with who you want. And for a long time, I adopted that. And I think my thing is just not required to do anything. That I am doing what I want, because if I'm not required to do something else, then I'm doing the thing that I want to do, like this show. I wanted to give healing. It fascinated me, especially when I started learning it. I was like, holy shit, Mark. You know, oh, you can share this with people? No. I'm like, holy shit, dude, you just healed yourself. Like, holy shit, you're feeling it. You're not feeling as sad anymore. Your suffering's eased, and not from a shot of alcohol. And my anxiety is gone, and not from calm CBDs. It's a blessing. You know, it's mind control, really. It's me controlling my mind, just like seeing like, oh shit, dude, you do like to ramp up. Maybe usually in the morning. I don't know if anybody else still wakes up from an alarm clock, but my alarm is not in. I don't have an alarm. You know, I'm not, and that's something I wanted for the longest time. Just being honest. Somebody else came in the show. Somebody else. I wanted just the calm. I wanted to be able to have it within myself, you know, if I'm feeling it in a crowd or feeling it in front of a beautiful woman or feeling it in life in general. Who doesn't want to just be like, all right with what life? And we've seen it in other people. You've seen people that are okay without freaking out and making shit not cool, you know? I want to make things cool. And not cool in it. It's cool and other people are jealous of it or envious and oh, he's so cool. Not egotistical cool. I want it to be kosher, smooth, like the other, like the duck on top of the water instead of the duck underneath the water. And too long was I paddling so hard. I was so focused on what I wanted. I was mass forcing it. I'm the bull that got his horns hooked inside of the wall. I got stuck, and Bugs Bunny's behind me laughing, chewing on a carrot, kicking me in my ass. Life has been kicked me in the ass, and if you're watching this show this long, it's probably kicked you in the ass. You can say me down below, me three, in the comments, and yeah, life's handed me some lemons, and I needed to make some lemonade. And that effort of saying, okay, brain, first of all, this is traumatic. That's pain. That's acceptable. You know, life, loss, living, and scraping. You're gonna get some of that. That's inevitable. But just like Mr. Anderson, the other choice was just the suffering. Do you want to choose the red pill or the blue pill? Are you the type of person that constantly gets into complaints and bums yourself out, and be's grumpy, and now you're not just moody? That's your personality. You've been developed over the years to be grumpy, interruptive, demanding, and you don't even know it. That's some heavy shit. That's some heavy shit. So for all of us that get a chance to wake up and restart our brains and rewire our brains. I don't know if you've ever reset your computer, taken the hood off, and had to look at some of the CPUs, the fans, blow off the fan. This is that time to blow off your fan and not blow up on people, but blow off your fan. You know what? This is the first time I'm gonna walk away from this argument. What? How powerful. You know what? I'm not gonna tell you about yourself. I'm not here to attack you. Say what? Yeah, I'm here to listen. I'm here to listen. If you're here to say something constructive, I'm here to be a part of the growth, man. And I feel the way you feel because I almost want to jump in and argue with you. I know what it's like. I know the adrenaline. I know the sensation. I know what it feels like to be that strong. So for me to be able to be that strong, I wanted to do it this way, right? Like I want to be able to do it in a way that I can make my own reality. I can shape my own destiny. I'm not interested in drama anymore. I'm not interested in force. I'm not interested in all the corrupted people that can only find drama. They can only find um, disaster. They can only find their drama and their anxiety and get buzz off of it. They get attention off of it. They think that it's healthy. And it's just destructive stuff, you know. From our friends to our family, it can come from coworkers. But to be the change that you want to see in the world, you have to have the change in yourself. And that's going to be a huge thing. And just go, you know what? I'm going to be the change. I'm not going to be under delusionment. This isn't something that I was just like, I'm just going to be positive and it's the secret and I'm just going to manifest with my crystals. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm literally talking about the science of reprogramming our brains and knowing that our wire transfer neurotransmitters, the hormones, the endorphins, the actual juices that our brains work on, the chemical warfare that is happening in our brains is insane to me. It's literally shocking the amount of energy that we spend on the social media and the subversive instead of the subsurface. Instead of getting inside and going, okay, this is how that works. I mean, not that everyone has to be a doctor, you know what I mean? Not everyone has that capability to study ourselves that long, but I mean, at least know all the different forms of the brain, at least know your hormones. We all have Fitbits now. Everybody's starting to get tracking their heart rate and what is healthy and what is normal and are we breathing. I remember my buddy the other day, I thought he got a message on his phone that said, you stopped breathing. I was like, whoa. Oh, I don't need a Fitbit telling me I need to breathe. I just need to breathe, and I need reprieve to breathe, and I need ability to be able to transfer that energy to people and the lifestyle, the way to reach it. So it's all there. It's all happening. There's nothing that can harm you if you don't let it, and that's it. There is no fear. There's only our perceived way of processing stress and the old ways that we've done it. That chaos. That what is it called when you're trying to survive? Your survival mechanisms. We don't need survival mechanisms anymore. We need creativity. We need thrival mechanisms. We need to be able to figure out a way to thrive, and that's minus suffering and creating. And somewhere in there, when you're being creative, instead of complaining, you get a chance to be in your own world and go, okay, these are the new things that I'm going to do. I'm going to take action with my brain instead of letting my brain hold me and hold my body down and hold all this stuff, all this energy, that craziness, that chaos that is life. You get a chance to actually choose a better way to have that conversation. You can have a translator for whatever stress is happening to people, and that's what's going on. So for me, it's a blessing. You know, it's a blessing to get this aha moment. It's a blessing to have a platform to share it with people. You know, I'd love to see her and to say it's all just been blessings. No, it's been Saints Addiction. There's been ups and downs, and I'm as human as they come. But my aha moment was I just didn't want to be in cycles where I was like, okay, now I'm depressed, then I gain weight because I eat food, and then I don't feel good about myself. Then I have to battle it out. I didn't have time for that anymore. I didn't have time for another 6 years of depression like I did before, and I felt like I ruined my life, and I felt and I felt and I kept feeling, and I kept doing that to myself. I kept juicing myself with the same juices. I kept making myself sick. I kept making myself fat. I kept making myself unlovable or feeling unloved, and everyone gets more lonelier than before. And I was like, whoa, I need to start living. I need to start going anywhere, boldly go and travel the world or do something, go someplace I've never been, start for even a walk, have conversations with flowers and chipmunks, be by rivers, get the energy from natural sources, stop being in front of the computer, just walked like I did this morning, and just go for walks and walk my mind, take your mind for a walk, and start having good conversations with it. Most people are like, I need a walking partner. I don't know where I'm safe. And I'm like, nah, dude, you can go anytime, anywhere for free, find a place. Walking is free. We are free to walk the earth, but we aren't so free to walk our minds. And that was a shock to me. So I want everybody to walk their minds. Take it there. Take it to a place where you can have quiet time and find it. Find something inside yourself where you can see, I'm not going to talk to myself that way no more. I'm not going to choose that addiction. I'm not going to be addicted to my emotions. I'm going to find another way. I'm going to choose another way. I'm just like so sick and tired of being sick and tired. I'm so sick of being in this loop of depression. I'm so sick of this suffering. I'm so sick of this thought, actually, and have the power to put a thought down and put away an old book and an old chapter of your life. This is, so many of us keep going back to those old drugs. I keep saying it, but it's an old book, it's old drugs, it's dusty shit in our attics. It's time to do spring cleaning and just go, I don't need that anymore to be strong. I don't need those things to be combative. I don't need those things in my life that cause me stress. It's not worth it. So I don't put any energy behind it. Anything else is up to us. It's a choice. And that's what I'm choosing. I'm choosing peace. I'm choosing my heart and my health, and getting off the sauce of negativity and that spicy shit that makes our heart rates go up and gives us the most heart attacks in the world. The heart disease is number one. Number two is what's number two? It's cancer. Another invitation of negativity in our bodies, and suicide. That's our 1, 2, 3 punch, and everyone's dying from that. Mostly all of us. And I was like, these are curable, And again, the animals are getting away with it. The animals are getting to fucking frolic free and never live stressed. They don't sit there and go, my selfies, my self-esteem. They're not doing that. They can move on. They can be in the now. And like you said, after 15 minutes of complete flight or flight mechanisms, you can be fine the next minute. You don't have to be angry all day. You don't have to be fixated. You don't have to get any OCDs or complicated with people or frustrated with people. You can be free, even in a prison, even with your family, even with your thoughts. You don't have to have the same thoughts. You don't have to keep doing that same shit over and over. And that was like, whoa, moment. Let's choose a new thought today. Let's give up an old one and literally concentrate on a new one, and try some new sauces. You can drink 200 different flavors of soda. You can try this new sauce called positivity, called mantras, called new pathways, new neural pathways, and saying, for far too long, I've done it this way. Well, let's give it the roundabout. Let's give it the other way. Let's try to refire our brain, retrain our brain. Train your brain, and then you got Saint's Addiction. All my heart from the start, your boy Marquis Saint, and go be blessed, not stressed. I always say, and as always, Chigathon, because that means goodbye but not forever. And I will see you on the other side as soon as you like, share, and subscribe, but also as soon as you level up and start taking some of the knowledge and learning it and applying it. That's the other side, really, metaphorically, physically, and spiritually. Hope you guys have a blessed day. That's my 2 hours of shine. That's my 2 hours of shine. So I hope you guys can be blessed, not stressed. I'll see you on the other side now. And thanks for watching. Thanks for sharing. And thanks for giving. Saints giving. I'm out.